Alrighty, so we are live on Facebook. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you hopping on. My name is Tony with MyRepairApp. If you don't know that, and today we're going to be talking about just a couple of quick things. We're going to be talking about the new update that we've done to our ticket notes, as well as just a kind of a refresher on how forms work. That's just kind of been something I've noticed. Some people aren't really utilizing forms to the greatest extent. And so I want to make sure that we help you guys learn how the forms work and also just how it's going to benefit you most. And so what I'm going to ask, though, as we're live on Facebook, again, thank you guys for watching in the Zoom. Got plenty of you in the Zoom. I'm going to ask that if you have any questions along the way, just go ahead and type them in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and address them toward the end. I do want to kind of just keep this flow smooth, so that way we can put this up on YouTube and have this as a reference video for you and anyone else moving forward. We'll just kind of keep it streamlined and something that isn't really confusing to follow. Because I kind of noticed, I was looking at the older videos where if I address the questions during the call, it kind of gets a little confusing to follow along for someone. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep this simple, and then we'll get started. So again, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. So what we're going to talk about today, and by the way, this is something that is new overall. I mean, we've done weekly trainings for a long time, but we've now moved to, as of right now, 5 days a week. So every single day, Monday through Friday, we'll be covering different features, different parts of MyRepairApp that are either something that we feel will help you, but also suggestions. If we get a lot of people asking about certain features of how they work or getting more support on that, feel free to we'll hop in and do that. But so we're also going to be doing multiple times a week trainings and onboardings for Display Shield, My Protection, ACO. So just a whole lot of training that we're offering people to give you the best opportunity, as much training as we can possibly offer. So today, again, we'll be talking about the new update that we made to Notes last week, and then I'll also show you how, if you take advantage of that along with the forms, just how easy this can make your life. Excuse me. So I'll actually get started with the forms just because this is going to be a little bit easier for me to start with that. So if you go to the icon right here in the top left corner, you'll go to the navigation menu, and you can scroll down and find forms, or you can just type it in right here and you will find the forms. And so you'll see this stores category or library, excuse me, of different forms. And you can create a new one right here. But before you do that, if you ever want to get like a head start, right? Super easy. We do have a template gallery. You click on this and you can see your templates and then all templates. And so you'll see how many, which ones have been downloaded, which ones are most popular. And so if I want to, let's say, click on phone check-in, right? So this is by another user who created this. And you can preview and see what it looks like. And so you can just see this checklist. And here's the cool part. You don't have to love 100% of something to use it. If you like parts of it, you can actually download it, and then you can make little edits to it, and that will allow you to customize it to your liking. So what I'm going to do, for instance, I'm going to, let's take a look here. Let's do a computer checklist. Let's look at this. Okay, so you got trackpads, this and that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say I like this one, but maybe I want to change some things. All right, so I'm going to go back here on the top right corner. I'm going to hit back, which, by the way, if you want to upload your own that you made, you can upload it here to the gallery for everyone else to take advantage of. So it's a nice way to just build the community. We click on back, and then I'm going to click on new form, and I'm just going to name this whatever I want, right? So this is the computer checklist. Name it however you want to name it. Add a description if you want. Then right here, you can just click to import a template. And so I'm just going to import that one. That's it. I didn't have to open the form and make any edits. It's when you download it, it's going to be downloaded in what's called a JSON format. And then when you go here, you're just going to import the same one. You don't have to change anything there. Leave it as is. Ignore the part that says global form. That's for me, not for you. So you won't see that, or you shouldn't see that. And so next is required when. So this is meaning, when do you want this form to be required, right? When do you want you or your staff to use that form? So you're going to select either NA, custom form. This is more for like backend HR type things, where it doesn't really get triggered by an action. It's more just accessible for you in your My Forms section at will. So 99% of the time when you're accessing a form, it's going to be when you have it selected upon action. So this one was when you're adding a computer device. So I would just hit select added device computer, create form. I already have one added, so it's actually going to redirect me to that, but that's how easy it would be. It would just be added. If you wanted to make any changes to it, then you would just literally at that point, once you add it, if you didn't have one added, I'll show you. It'll show you, it'll take you straight to the edit page. So here, let me just go ahead and let's see if I can just get a random one here. And we're just gonna do this whenever we're closing it. I think I probably should have deleted whatever I had, but let's just say we don't have one for that. I do have one for that. Probably have one for everything. Let me just go ahead and see what I don't have. Maybe I don't have a completed repair, whatever. This is just an example of how it would work. So you import that, hit create form. We have a form for everything. Okay. Form for everything. Anyway, so it would pop up in edit section. You could right then and there, you would edit it. If you're not sure how the editing works, this isn't that video just because it we already have a YouTube video for that. But this is just to kind of show you. It'll mean just literally drag and drop, right? So you have a edit icon, a delete. So right here, this is what it would pop up as actually. So when you do that, when you hover over it, you can drag and drop wherever you want this to be. You can delete it. When you click on something, right on the right hand side is where you'll be able to edit that form. So if I want to edit things, etc., if I click outside of it, so this is where you can basically just drag and drop. You want to make a title, you want to add a paragraph section, you want to add a spacer here, you want to add a checkbox field, etc., right? All that's here. Signature, boom, boom, boom. Hit preview in the top right corner, and you'll see we added spaces, we added the signature form, and you can test and see how it looks. So again, you can download a template, then you can edit it to your heart's desires, make it however you want to make it. Real simple. I'm gonna go back to forms. I'm gonna show you how, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna show you what a form can look like when you populate it inside of a ticket. But, so let's say real quick, when you create a new form, when you have the upon action, here are all the different actions that can trigger a ticket. So start day, end day, that's when you are on the home page, you have that start day and end day icons, right? So begin daily operations, close daily operations, you would have that there. That's when that would be triggered. Clock in, clock out, you can even have that as well. So when you have your employees clock in and clock out, if you want them to do certain things, that it'll basically be popping up as a reminder for them to do X, whatever it is you want them to do, you can do that. So whenever you're starting your day, that's when you would count the register, right? So you want them to turn on the lights, turn on the open sign, take out the trash can, answer any emails, answer voicemails, right? That's probably primary thing is check for any voicemails, check for any appointments scheduled that day, check the emails, right? You want to make sure that your customers are taken care of, things like that, right? Whatever you want your staff to do whenever you start the day and whenever you end the day. And if you're ever struggling, by the way, with coming up what to say, what to do, at this point, ChatGPT has probably had more than 100,000 retail businesses give it ideas on how they run their business. So you can just ask Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever, what are some great ideas, right? What are some ideas on like top 3 things an employee should do every day, or top 5 things they should do every day when we're opening the store or closing the store. Super simple. But again, we also have a bunch already in our gallery. So if you are looking for inspiration, go to the gallery, take a look. You can get some inspiration there. Open and close sales and repair tickets. That's when you're saving and closing a ticket. You can have, again, different reminders pop up. So whether it's like, hey, don't forget to offer, sell a screen protector or a display, aqua plan or my protection plan. Just these are reminders, right? Same thing with open and closing and trade-in tickets, clock in, clock out. And then when you're adding devices, these are some of the more important ones, in my opinion, is when you are checking in either a computer, a watch, a game console, a phone, a tablet, or something else. A particular form for that particular category of devices will pop up. So as your employees you are about to check in a device, before you even have the chance to type in the IMEI or to confirm anything, that form will pop up, and you'll see, I'll show you in a second an example of how that looks. It's going to pop up And it's whatever you want you and your staff to do consistently every single time upon checking a device in to lower your to limit your liability, that'll happen. And then completed device, this is the post-repair checklist, right? So add device is your pre-repair checklist. And then your completed device is when you change the status of that particular device inside of a ticket to completed. And that is the post-repair checklist. So when you move that, I'm going to show you when you move it to completed inside of the ticket, that particular device will have that form pop up. This is separate from the status of the ticket when you drag it on the board. Those are separate for a very good reason. Number one is what the insurance companies need for all the insurance companies that we're rolling out with. And so they are separate for different reasons. You can have more than one device on our ticket, etc. When you are adding a device to sell it. So when you are selling devices, you can also have a form pop up to remind your staff to do whatever you want them to do, right? Double check and make sure it's charged. Make sure, the store iCloud is taken off, etc., etc. You already know what you guys do. It's just now you can put it here where it automatically happens. Your staff don't have to remember to do that. Customer display. This is part of our smart displays. So smart displays is the feature where you can have different graphics and videos appear on tablets and TVs, but then customer display is what would pop up, show your customers or see that on a tablet if you have one facing them whenever you first save, when you are creating a ticket. So when you're creating a ticket, as you add the customer's name, phone number, email, the device type, etc., it will show them that their information and the device being added to the ticket. And then when you save the ticket for the first time, it will then pop up your your business terms and conditions, your return policy, your warranty, etc. And then on the tablet, they can sign with the signature, save, boom, it goes, and it's attached to that ticket. Super simple. The Motorola stuff you can ignore for now. This is something we're doing a pilot with Motorola. We'll be, if you're already part of the pilot, thank you. And we will be expanding on this in the coming months. I've been having some really good conversations with Motorola. We just need a little bit more time to get to the next steps. So we will have more to expand on there. So that's how easy it is to create the forms. Again, if you go to the template gallery, you can find a lot of examples. And there's all kinds, right? Even HR type things. I've seen people ask, hey, how do I handle, my employees maybe came to work not smelling super great, or hey, how do I deal with attendance, etc., etc. There's a lot of great ideas in the template gallery that can assist you in expanding. Even if you're just a solo operator, I can't say this enough, guys. I was a solo operator for 4 years. I regret not having created SOPs earlier when I was just solo, because it was really hard for me to implement that as I started scaling, because my employees knew that I didn't know what I was doing. And so it did cause a little bit of issue in the very beginning with employees being less than honest, but also kind of hard for them to take me seriously and hard for me to hold them accountable. When I hired them, I didn't have any things to hold them accountable to, right? And so when you, as a solo operator, build out all your SOPs, and from all the way from when you're first putting out an application to during the interview and all the way through when they're actually working for you, you want to have steps and processes in place. So A, they know that you're legit, and B, you know what you want them to do, and you don't have to babysit them every single second of the day. This will help you so much. I can't express it enough how good this will, how much this will help you in your business. Okay, so now we're going to look at the tickets. We're going to go to check-ins. We're going to do a repair. And so if you're not familiar with MyRepairApp, this is the check-in ticket. You have the customer information. You can add a new one or choose from existing customers. If I type in something here, it'll pop up. This is where you're going to add the device. I'll do that in a second. Then this is where you create the ticket. You got the repair, anything you're selling them, etc. Notes. So what's really cool, this is part of the new update. I'll show you guys right now, and then we'll do the forms. Actually, no, we'll do the forms first. I'll do the notes. I'm getting ahead of myself. So you don't have to add a customer for this example, but I'll do it just for the heck of it. So that's what that looks like. And then I can call or text the customer from here, which is pretty cool. So if you have our phone system, really neat to be able to do that. And if you need to make any edits, you can do that here, etc. You can also give them store credit. Anyway, you got the customer information there. Add a device. Let's say the customer, we are checking in a computer. I don't know if I have any computers in this test account. I do. And you saw that we created that checklist with the space and everything else. Well, actually the old one. Let's do a phone. Let's do a phone one. I actually have a good one. So let's say you're checking in a iPhone 11. Click on this. So this is an example of a checklist. Is this the only one, the best one? Debatable. Is it really thorough? Yes. And you can, again, this is it. This is the template in our gallery right now. You can take this, you can use it as is, again, or you can make edits as you like, right? So real simple. This is just a guide for your employees. If you notice, I didn't put anything in, right? If I exit out, it doesn't get added. So like I'm checking in an iPhone 11. All right, Mr. Customer, iPhone 11, let me check this in for you. This is the process. Click on that. I can't put in the IMEI first. I have to, okay, here is my checklist as an employee. Is the screen damaged? Yes. Is the back broken, bent, etc.? No. So on and so forth, right? Really, any indicators of liquid damage? Not sure, right? Whatever. You can change that however you want. You can have these be check boxes. You can have these be a drop down. You can do yes, no, maybe, unsure. Totally up to you. And then you can also make these mandatory. So the ones that have an asterisk there are mandatory. Or you can have some be mandatory, some not be mandatory. That is all up to you. So rear facing camera, is it fully functional? No. Oh, by the way, yeah, there we go. So you got a quote. Someone's testing it out on this account. Example, right? You just click through. But this is, again, you don't have to be this thorough. Probably good to be. Or yeah, we got to change that one there. But there you go. So now you can just go ahead and select that. It probably won't let me save because this one doesn't have an option there. Yeah. So that was actually an error on that template. I can actually go ahead and fix that. Let me fix that real quick. Well, actually, it's a good example to show you. Now, with that said, we are working on some updates to the forms. I know it's a little bit... It's actually, believe it or not, this is actually one of the very first things that we did with MyRepairApp. So it looks a little different. It's because it's one of the very first things we did. But so we're going to go to that one that said it was the microphone and speaker. Yeah, so we don't have a yes, no. So I'm just going to add a yes here, right? Hit save. Publish. Now I'm going to publish it. And I'm going to close out that ticket. I'm going to go back and create a whole new ticket, and we'll see that in action here. So you saw the checklist didn't work because it didn't have a drop down. So I'm going to say yes. Again, this one's not necessary. There's no asterisk. I'm just going to leave that alone or whatever. Click through here. So we're going to go back all the way down to the microphone, and it's going to be the only option is a yes. You saw that live. Boom, done. These aren't necessary. A signature is always necessary. If you added signature, it is necessary. Boom. Great way of holding your staff accountable. There you go. So now I can go ahead and put in the serial number, put in the password, etc., etc. If I want to click on the checklist, you can see that checklist when the ticket is open and when a ticket is closed. So from now on, this is attached to this ticket. And so no matter what happens, you have this record of that. So that's how you would use a form. And then, of course, there's one of my favorite forms to use is the prepayment reminder. So let me go back to the form section. I forget. I actually didn't touch base on that. And that one, to me, is exceptionally fun. We're going to go to the upon action. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Hang on. That's not there. I forgot. It's been so long since we actually I've looked at the forms. It is actually in your operations and workflow. Excuse me. I was like, wait a second. So operations and workflow. That's because this is a it's not an actual, it's a different type of trigger point. So if you go to your operations and workflow in your settings, go to prepayment reminders, and this is where you can set up your prepayment reminder. Sorry, I apologize for the confusion there. You can basically, it's really, really cool. You can configure a custom message that will be displayed to your employees before they add a payment to a ticket. And so there are some pre-configured reminders, and of course you can you add your own custom ones. So it's like, hey, did you remember to offer a screen protector? Did you offer a discount or this or that? Whatever, right? All these different things that you would want your employees to do. Make sure you double check, right, before you take payment. So if I click on any one of these payment methods, I'm going to hit cash. So I have it set right now where it says offer an accessory bundle. Cases and glass together are 25% off today, right? Or don't forget to give customer their Black Friday goodie bag, whatever, right? These are all things to kind of get you thinking. And then so as an employee, I have to hit, okay, now I can take payment. And so if you have, let's say you've set a new standard for your staff, hey, I want us to hit a 65% accessory attachment rate, right? I want at least 65% of our customers that walk in, walk out with some sort of an accessory. And you've added a prepayment reminder. And then you can also have, so when they take a payment, it reminds them. And also when they're saving a ticket, you can also have one again remind them. Very, very hard for your employees to say, oh, I forgot. You can't forget. It told you to do it. You just didn't do it. So this is the difference between just being, like hoping your employees are going to do it and actually setting up rules that your employees know to follow. And this is standards, right? This is a system, and you need to create a system. And so, by the way, if you're not familiar with MyRepairApp and you're wondering how the rest of the ticket goes, this is where you would just type in iPhone 11 screen repair and select it, and then boom. Display shield, a whole nother thing altogether. This is an automatically added protection plan. If you're curious about that, let me know. We have calls as of right now every Tuesday and every Thursday about this, and then also an additional one on Friday that covers My Protection, ACO, and Display Shield. But for the remainder of this call, I'm going to go over the next update, which is notes. So the changes to notes. If you click on our notes, a little bit of a UI change. You can see the forms here. So if there are different types of forms that were filled out, it's not just the device one, but any form that populated. You can also make sure you can select if you want the invoices the notes to display on the invoice or not. And you can do some formatting here. But what's really cool is you click on this right here, this icon with the plus and then the arrow drop down. This is where you can upload a picture, upload a video, or use the webcam built in to take a video or a picture, whether you're using a phone, a tablet, or a computer, to take pictures and video from inside of your repair ticket, so you have maximum accountability. So not only do you have the pre and post repair checklist, which, hey, you tested the device before you fixed it, you tested the device after you fixed it, you can do this and then take a video with your tablet, right? So it's all time stamped, so you can show the device before and after. So when you check it in, when you check it out. So if I click on webcam right now, it's actually going to turn on my camera, hello, and a messy store behind me. So if you're using a phone or tablet, boom, there you go. And that's going to help you have the ultimate accountability. So if the customers ever say, hey, ever since you fixed my phone, the back glass has been broken, or it wasn't broken when I brought it in, right? Or you're dealing with a dispute or anything like that, super, super, super helpful there. The illusion has been destroyed. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, this is not my actual living room. Believe it or not, I've been misleading you guys for the last year. I don't have an office outside of my main shop yet because I do not feel like spending extra money when I don't have to. If that makes sense. Is my name even Tony? That's, believe it or not, it's actually Antonio. No, it's just Tony. But yeah, so that is to me, this is one of the greatest things that we've ever done, is the ability to take the video from inside of the ticket. And that way you can really have as much accountability as possible when your customers potentially, hopefully don't, but if they do have a problem, then you can take advantage of that. And so that's how all that works. I appreciate you guys tuning in for that. And for now, I'm going to hop over to the Q&A, but let's see real quick here. Can you edit the forms after completing them? Yes. Oh, wait. So for instance, you find liquid damage present. No. So that is a good question. That would just be part of the form, right? Excuse me, the notes. So the purpose of the form is what you can identify at check-in, right? You're doing this at check-in, presumably in front of the customer, right? So that's what we do. So when we check in devices, we will do the whole pre-test in front of the customer. You fill out the form. If after the fact you find liquid damage, that is exactly why the video and picture taken inside of the notes is so valuable. So right then and there, you can just whip out the phone or whip out the tablet or the webcam and immediately record it. So you have that evidence, right? Like, hey, we checked in the device at 137. And then at 142, we had it open, and lo and behold, there's liquid in there, but some of it's dried, which means there's proof that that wasn't us that added it, because it already dried up a little bit, but it's still wet. Is there anywhere to get any pre-made templates we can edit? Yes, so actually I did cover that in the very beginning of this call, but I'll go ahead and if you go to the here, I'll actually share my screen again just for the heck of it. So you go to here, you go click on type in forms, you'll find it, And then on the top right corner, template gallery. This is where you're going to find a good chunk of templates. I don't believe there's a template for every single thing, but there's a good amount. There's 6 pages. So there's dozens and dozens and dozens of templates. You're good. How do you get the customer to sign that the pre-check has been completed? They agree to it. That's really not the purpose of the pre-check. I mean, if you wanted, you could technically under the customer display, you can have part of your terms and conditions saying, hey, you agree to our pre-check list or something like that. That is accurate. But so far, I mean, to date, no one's ever had an issue with the pre-check. I've never, personally, been in business for 10 years, in our locations, we've never had a customer sign off on our pre-check list. But that's how it protects you, is the fact that it's time-stamped, right? And then you have the post-repair, and then again, you have the video. So you have all these different ways. Because even if the customer signs, at the end of the day, that doesn't really mean anything. What means something is the fact that you can actually take a video and a picture, and it shows definitively at this particular time, this is what happened. And that's going to stand up a heck of a lot better than just a standalone signature. But with the customer display, you add that with the signature, you've done as much as you can to protect yourself. Yeah, I mean, personally, I've never had a customer signature help me in a dispute. Granted, we haven't had very many disputes over the years, but it's never been never helped us. But I see a lot of people care about that a lot, so that's why we've added that and other things. But the video is going to be, and pictures are going to be far more impactful if you ever have to deal with a dispute. What would you say is the best practices on the customer display form? I have one I made as a standard repair form for the customer to agree to, but then I created an add-on for liquid damage and one for data recovery. I mean, yeah, so the point of the customer display form, good question, isn't really for you to have your customers, you know, agree to like all your repair practices. At the end of the day, it's just like, hey, realistically, we're not liable for X. This is our return policy. This is our warranty policy. If you agree, you agree, right? Because anything else, honestly, no one's going to read it. It's not really going to matter. You just want to, in my opinion, I would keep it simpler, because that stuff's not going to really matter. You could just say, we have, like on ours, we have a real simple, we're not responsible for data lost. If the device is liquid damage, there's no guarantee that we can fix it, let alone recover data. But again, that's never true. For me, this is my own experience. That's never been anything that we've had to argue against. But again, that's where it comes back to, if you find a device being liquid damaged, opening it up, documenting that, far more valuable than, well, you signed it. You're not really telling the customer, imagine this, you're kind of being combative at that point. You're like, well, you signed that document that agreed to our terms and conditions, right? Like, they don't care. Yes, maybe it'll protect you in court, but when you're talking about protecting your reputation amongst your community, in my opinion, you can have that, but supplement that with your own internal pre and post repair checklist that's timestamped, in addition to pictures and or video. It's really hard for them to dispute timestamped pictures and video. Like, well, you checked it in at 1:42 p.m. I literally cracked it open at 1:45, and I took a picture and texted it to you at 1:46. I didn't break your phone and do all these things in those 3 minutes, right? Like, that's a far better example, is my opinion, of protecting yourself. But also, in addition to all that, these types of issues, thankfully, are not that common. If they are a common problem to you, I would say it might be time to revisit what the expectations are being set to the customer, because that shouldn't be a common thing, in my opinion. Also, a handy recommendation for creating your own templates. I downloaded several from the gallery, dumped them in ChatGPT, so it learned the formatting, and then it created perfect custom templates I could just upload. Yeah, exactly. That's what we did. We made one, and then we had ChatGPT just make that formatting. So yeah, you just take any of them, download them, tell ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you want, what you want to have that form added, like what do you want to add to that form, and boom, done. Is there any indicator once a video is attached to a note so that a staff member knows to refer to it if needed, such as a color change to an icon or something? In the notes section where you saw that box, it will show like an image. So you'll see like a preview. So yeah. And then yeah, it would be like an add-on to the notes. So where the notes are, you have like the device update, ticket update, it'll add on to that as well. But yeah, so as far as for the YouTube video, I think we're good. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free, please tune in and keep an eye out at virtually every single YouTube video that we have done prior to today, which is February 2nd, 2026. I will be remaking. We're going to be updating and changing things for the better. We're going to be making them more concise and slightly shorter. And because we've also made some updates and revamped some features, and so we'll go ahead and redo those and make them even better, so it's easier for you to tag along. Thanks so much for watching.